Hi guys, welcome to Real Football Talk. I'm Hassan. I have Adi with me. We'll be discussing the big semi-final between Real Madrid and Chelsea, where Chelsea pretty much dominated the whole game, but still ended up with a 1-1 aggregate scoreline, really. Adi, what did you make of Chelsea and their fantastic start to the first half? I mean, they came out of the blocks, straight away, created a great chance for Warner.
Yeah, he should have put that away. I mean, hit it straight. But yeah, I thought Real Madrid didn't quite know where to press and how to press Chelsea because they changed their setup. And as soon as Tuchel saw Real Madrid had a wing back system, three at the back, he dropped Mount into a three, and they basically went to a wing back. They actually matched up completely with Real Madrid with 3-5-2, but they played it totally different. Both teams played it different. Real Madrid played it a bit more traditional, and
I mean, they seem to have like a flat three, didn't they, Real Madrid?
yeah, they had a flat three, but also the wing backs weren't pushing high up for the press.
Right.
So what happened was during Chelsea's build-up, the midfield actually didn't feel comfortable to press that high up onto Jorginho or Mount or Kante. So what happened was they were always players short for the press. So it was easy for Chelsea to play around them. And then obviously what they weren't expecting was Azpilicueta and Chilwell to be playing so high up. And also the fact that the legs of Kante was breaking through, playing quite attacking, and they couldn't keep up with him. The whole midfield Cruz, Casemiro, and Madrid kind of was showing their age.
I mean, this is what I was gonna say. Every time Kante or Manto was on the ball, they seem to be just like easing past both of the midfielders of theirs, apart from Casemiro, in terms of Cruz and Modric. I mean, that seemed to create a lot of problem for their back line. I mean, even the back line didn't help with some of the defending they did.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. The whole first half, Varane and
Nacho,
yeah, Varane and Nacho were arguing with each other because Varane kept leaving Warner to come off and wasn't going in tight. And every time Warner was coming short, he wanted Nacho to leave his space to drop in, but it was actually Varane's man. So they're both pointing at each other to do the closing. So just obviously in second half they fixed that. So what happened was basically all of the pitch, it was easy for Chelsea to just pass around them, and then also soon as Real Madrid belatedly committed to pushing up and trying to win the ball back, what happened? Kante and Mount would actually go into the 10 positions and run in behind to and stretch Casemiro. So then what happens is suddenly you go then their normal attacking formation, with Azpilicueta, Chilwell, Mount, Kante, and then you got Werner and Pulisic on top. So suddenly they've completely overloaded the whole Real Madrid backline, and yeah, they may regret not actually taking the win in the first set because they were the better team. They don't.
Do you think Zidane kind of made a mistake or gave too much respect to the Chelsea team with regards to trying to match up with the three at the back with the wing back system instead of actually playing the formation that they've been playing?
No, I think because Real Madrid do play this formation anyway.
But but this is the thing. They seem so uncomfortable, and they seem like they don't know what they're doing.
No, because I think the problem was personnel. I think the problem is it doesn't quite work when you have to get Marcelo in, and the Carvajal. I think that was his first or second game back from quite a long injury, so he didn't have the energy needed to play the wing back role because they play a bit more traditional.
Yeah,
where the wing backs joined the attack late. It didn't quite work because they weren't fit enough and they weren't able to get back. So it kind of left the back three isolated, and because the back three were going in tight, and even when they did, I mean, Pulisic was turning them and running. I mean, the amount of fouls Pulisic took today was a lot. And then you got midfield that doesn't have the legs to track back. And so yeah, I don't think he done the right formation change, but not the players. I mean, it doesn't work when you don't have Ferland, Mendy, you don't have a fit, right back. You got Varane coming back in from injury, not much game time. Nacho was carrying a knock. Yeah, he was 50-50 for the game, so he probably played with a knock. Cruz been out since the semi-final second leg. I mean, quarter-final second leg. So they're an aging team, and he put everyone in the mix, but there's clearly players who weren't match sharp.
But I mean, all the points you said, it seems like they kind of showed in the first goal that they consider. The goal they considered with Pulisic scoring, in terms of Kante breaking that initial press and then pulling the ball back to Rudiger, then Rudiger hit it over to Pulisic, who was running through. And then, I mean, Nacho, if you look at him, he just decided to, for some reason, go and cover the goal instead of following the play.
Yeah, I thought they both were poor, because Nacho could have swept, but also Varane completely stood still.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if Nacho has a sweep, then you need to react together. But they both decide to go to the goal line. So strange defending for both of them, really. And you saw that the whole first half, they weren't in sync. It's just them two that were in sync. They kept pointing at each other on what to do. So clearly there's a bit of a leadership issue between them. Second half, obviously Zidane sorted it out because Varane was coming out and going in tight the whole time. So, that would point probably that Varane was, at fault for a lot of the dominance just had in the first half.
Credit to Pulisic, though.
Composure, because obviously at the beginning it looked like it was the better option would have been to square to Werner, but then Werner made such a, it's not an intelligent run. He literally went to a position where Pulisic couldn't even pass to him. He basically went and marked the defender. So it just ended up Pulisic luckily had the composure to round everyone and score. But they were playing that ball in behind a lot, especially on Chilwell's side. So they were obviously trying to expose Eder Militao, because Militao is known for kind of ball watching a lot.
Yeah. And
relying on his pace. So they're trying to ping the ball in behind. And the only time they did it really good was that one time. I mean, every other time Rudiger tried playing that ball, he overhit it straight into Courtois. Or straight into, it's too obvious. And, Carvajal would just drop in and header it and clear it. So, yeah, but I thought that was quite clever, because that kept the back line quite deep. They were afraid to push up because of it. And that means the midfield has more space to cover, and they don't have the legs. So that's why I thought Kante was probably the most influential player for me, just because of the legs. I mean, quite a lot of times when he did get into that position, he couldn't get the end quality, which is, what he does.
We all know, yeah.
But the fact was they were able to dominate the game because of the amount of energy and running that he had. And he literally ran Cruz to death. I mean, Cruz just could not keep up with him. And I thought you have to credit Zidane for that second half changes he made. He made quite a few different...
Before you get to that, Adio, I'm going to stop you there, because I want to talk about something. In the first half, Benzema, I mean, 5th in the Champions League goal scoring list. What a finish. What do you make of him? I mean, just before, even after the first goal, he had hit that shot from outside, which was...
really unlucky with that shot. I mean, that was a beautiful shot, left foot across goal. I mean, Mendy didn't have a clue. It wasn't anywhere near it. And
he wasn't ready for that.
That shot, deserved to be a goal. I mean, it's a great strike. he was the one bright spark for Real Madrid during the whole game. Every time he got on the ball, he had the composure to keep it and hold it and make something happen.
I mean, even against the Liverpool game, we said the same thing about Benzema. He really seemed to have taken that mantelpiece of being the main man at Real Madrid.
Yeah, but he has been doing that. I mean, last year he was the main man. They won the title. So you get it. I think it's old news, but for some reason everyone's going on like all of a sudden he's stepped up for the last few years. Or he's been the most informed player in the Spanish league this since November probably. He's been carrying this Real Madrid team when they were actually playing quite poor. Now they're starting to play a lot better, and Zidane's starting to get everyone going in the right direction. But before that, they were only winning games because of his goals, and there wasn't much else. They were probably getting outplayed most games at that time, or it was quite even. But Benzema was the difference. So yeah, he's on phenomenal form. Best form of his career, consistencies. He is the leader in that attacking.
But I mean, that's what I mean. It seems like people underrate him because obviously his name's ain't always there. Because every time people talk about strikers, etc., they hardly talk about Benzema. But he's always been there. He's been there at Madrid. Even when Ronaldo was there, he's still the first pick.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, he's always been like one of the original false nine strikers, because he's always been a striker who brings the wingers into the game, brings other players into the game. He's always been a more playmaker striker than an out striker, and what you see today is what he's really added in the last few years, which he scores a lot more of those type of goals. The simpler goals, the open goals. It's not before he'd only score really good, the hard, tough goals, and maybe not always in the box for the simple tap-ins and headers. Now he scores a lot more headers. He's a lot more in the box. So yeah, he's the type of goal he scored today, where it's not really a clear-cut chance. He made it himself. I mean, excellent header, turn, swivel, all in one movement. But Chelsea did look circumspect in their defending of corners the whole game, even towards the end. Varane had a few header. Yeah, and I felt that was the only area where Real Madrid were actually a lot more aggressive. Even when you see for that goal, Casemiro was more aggressive than Azpilicueta. Militao was more aggressive than Pulisic and whoever else was trying to header it, and then Benzema was more aggressive on, I think, Rudiger. And yeah, that seems like the only area where Real Madrid had a superiority over Chelsea. So which I don't think anyone else would have said before the game.
But what did Madrid really change in the second half? Because you kind of alluded to it.
But yeah, so obviously off the ball, one of the main things they changed was obviously Varane going in tighter.
Yeah.
Following in Werner, following in Pulisic. So not letting the two strikers actually get on the ball and turn and make things happen. But the other main thing is they actually went similar to, done the same thing as Chelsea, which is Kroos went into, so then Kroos became the defensive mid, and Casemiro was left as a midfielder, and Modric was left to push up and press a lot more, or play as tens to be extra options to pass around the press of Chelsea. But the other clever thing they did was they moved Nacho out to the left back. He was effectively another left back. So then what happened was that caused Azpilicueta a problem, because in the first half he was pushing in tight on Marcelo. And a couple of times when they first did that, he went for Nacho, and that left Marcelo free. And they created a bit of possession through that. But
do you think that's why Tuchel brought on James?
No, because obviously Aspilicueta adjusted and then started picking up Marcelo, but it just meant Nacho was free, and suddenly they were getting Pulisic to come all the way across. But by the time he's doing that, it's enough time for Real Madrid to keep the ball, but not necessarily penetrate or attack.
Yeah.
So they were just, at least they were able to keep it around the back, which in the first half they're struggling to do. So that's what changed really, is on the ball they were, they spread out a bit more and they had more options in the opposition half. So what happened, they weren't necessarily passing it to Casemiro or Modric, but Chelsea were having to commit players to picking them up. So instead of now Mount going in and pressing high, he's worried about picking up Modric.
But Adi, another thing I noticed was the amount of time, kind of, even though you said Modric kind of pushed forward, but he also quite pushed to the right. And I think Odriozola or someone that came on, he seemed to have been pushing further up to pressure them further up the pitch. Yeah. So he was kind of covering that space that's been left behind by the right wing back.
Yeah, and because obviously the out ball the whole game for Chelsea was trying to play in behind Eder Militao and getting Chilwell up the pitch.
Yep.
So because that was their out ball, so what Zidane was trying to do is to pin Chilwell back. But they were only able to execute that bit when the Odriozola came on. But while Carvajal was on the pitch, it was a factor because of his fitness just wasn't there.
Yeah.
I thought Chelsea were good, man. I mean, Tuchel was really good with his changes as well, because when he took off Pulisic and Werner for Havertz and Ziyech, that also changed the dynamics of the game. Suddenly, Chelsea were back on the front foot, dominating the game again. And what they did was they dropped Kante into the midfield, and then he was breaking free again, which is what they did in the second half. They were playing both of them like 10s, but they went back to how they were doing it in the first half, where Kante was kind of playing in midfield, but then breaking through.
I mean, Ty is still on the balance. I mean, you could say Chelsea have the edge with the away goal. Massive positive thing to look for, you would say, is maybe Hazard being back for Real Madrid. Maybe a bit more game time this week. He'll probably get a bit more game time. It'll be a lot sharper for the second half. So that's positive to look forward to from a Real Madrid perspective. Do you think Chelsea got enough to win this?
I think Chelsea really should have. They kind of. I mean, I think they may regret not going for it. I do think that. I won't say they're at the tie. Obviously, there is advantages to them, and the onus is on Real Madrid to open up, and that might suit Chelsea's game plan and the way Tuchel sets them up, because with Pulisic, with Werner, they're going to be dangerous on the counter-attack. And the Real Madrid defenders don't fill me with any confidence. I mean, individually, they're not that good.
The only thing that worries me about Chelsea is that clinical edge. Like, they created probably the best chance for Warner. He didn't finish it.
Yeah, and there were other chances Warner had where he took the shot.
Things like that just makes me wonder, like, do they have that forward line to actually finish Madrid off, even though Madrid will probably open up in the second leg? That's the only question mark I have at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's been the question mark for Chelsea. But the thing is, they've always managed to get that goal, and then once they get it, they're quite good in their defending. And that's why the biggest surprise about today was they conceded. They conceded. That was a big surprise. And set pieces could be a factor in the second leg. But I just think Real Madrid will take this result. One, because they didn't play well. Two, they're going to be a lot stronger in the second leg. I mean, the rumor is Ramos will be back as well, potentially.
That's a massive boost.
So Ramos, you're going to have Kroos getting match fit, because he's been missing for 2 weeks, not playing, 2 or 3 weeks. You're going to have
Hazard
Carvajal match fit.
more
You're
fit.
gonna have Varane match fit. You're gonna have Hazard match fit. So I think it could be quite a bit different match second leg. And the thing is,
Hazard back in the
um,
pitch.
yeah, I mean, yeah, Hazard and Benzema when they have played together, they've shown an unbelievable understanding and link up between them. The problem is probably they get a bit too carried away with trying to pass to each other and set each other up. Even when there's a clear goal, they try and do the more difficult thing of setting it for the other one. So, but it's a different preposition, I think, in the second leg. That's why if Chelsea don't go through, it'll be because they, when they were clearly dominant, they maybe
They wasted their chance.
didn't go for the kill, and it's hard to be harsh because you're playing Real Madrid away from home. You got the away goal.
No, but I'm not saying it's harsh. It's more the fact that they missed the chance they missed. I'm sorry, but come on, he should have finished that one.
Yeah, but that was that was in the nil. That's right at the beginning. After that, yeah, they had chances, but not
Nothing clear
they
cut.
didn't make they did well. It could have been if they made the right decision, if the cross was better, or if but I think you have to factor in it was torrential rain. It was tough condition. It was tough for all the players playing. So I think yeah, definitely I think it's a tie where both teams will be happy. Actually, that's the strange thing. I don't think Real Madrid will be too upset. I think they're confident that they're going to be a lot stronger in the second leg.
Adi, you know what I'm going to ask?
Well,
English team going to the final?
Maybe, like I'm not. I think I think let's see tomorrow, but I'm tipping PSG for the whole thing. So.
Guys, on that note, do keep an eye out. We also have the Man City versus PSG game analysis coming out tomorrow, and also please do like, share, subscribe, and please support us as much as you can. Share out to family and friends. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Adi, for coming on, and yeah, see you soon, guys.